The coffee had gone cold an hour ago. I sat in the dimness of my motel room, the glow from my laptop, the only light, watching the cursor blink on a blank email. Outside, the interstate hummed with late-night traffic. Inside, I was trying to remember when I'd stopped being a father and become just an obstacle. My hands shook as I closed the laptop. Not from fear, not from cold, from something else entirely. Something I hadn't felt in the 3 decades I'd spent running Chen's Kitchen on Foster Avenue. Something that felt dangerously close to freedom. But I'm getting ahead of myself. 6 months ago, I sold Chen's Kitchen for $847,000. After 32 years of 16-hour days, burned fingers, and the smell of ginger and garlic soaked so deep into my skin, I wondered if it was permanent. After my wife Linda passed 5 years back, that restaurant was all I had. Every wok, every cleaver, every recipe card in her handwriting. But at 67, my knees couldn't take the kitchen floors anymore, and my hands couldn't hold a knife steady past the dinner rush. Michael, my son, insisted I come live with him and his wife Vanessa in their house in Riverside. "Dad, you can't be alone in that apartment," he'd said over the phone. "We've got plenty of room. The kids would love having Grandpa around." The kids? My granddaughters, Emma and Sophie, 8 and 6. I'd barely seen them grow up. Too busy with the restaurant. This felt like a second chance. I gave Michael $2,000 a month for expenses. Seemed fair. I had my savings, my Social Security, and the money from the sale sitting in my account. I wasn't a burden. I was contributing. The first week was good. Great, even. I'd wake up early, make breakfast for everyone. Real breakfast. Not the cereal and Pop-Tarts Vanessa usually threw at the girls. Congee with century egg for me. Pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse for Emma and Sophie. Omelets for Michael and Vanessa. The girls loved it. "Grandpa, can you make the pancakes again tomorrow?" Emma asked, syrup on her chin. "Every day if you want," I'd promised. But by week 2, Vanessa started leaving notes. "The girls need to be at school by 8:15. Then, can you pick them up at 3:30? Then, Emma has soccer practice. Sophie has piano. Here's the schedule." I didn't mind. I had time. Michael worked long hours as a regional manager for some software company. Vanessa did something with social media, always on her phone, always filming herself for what she called content. I never understood it, but she seemed busy. By month 2, I was doing all the school runs, all the activities, packing lunches, helping with homework. Still, I told myself this was good. This was being useful. This was earning my keep. The first crack appeared when I suggested we go out for dinner. "My treat," I said. "There's this new Vietnamese place downtown I've been wanting to try." Vanessa looked up from her phone. "We can't really afford to eat out right now, Dad." I blinked. "That's why I said my treat. I'm paying." "It's not about the money," she said, but her tone suggested it absolutely was. "It's about setting a good example for the girls. Financial responsibility." I let it go. But something bothered me. I was giving them $2,000 a month. Where was that going? Month 3. I walked into the living room one Saturday afternoon. Michael and Vanessa were having drinks with some of her friends, people I'd never met. I started to sit in my usual chair by the window. "Dad," Vanessa's voice was sharp, "we have guests. Could you maybe watch TV in your room?" I looked at Michael. He was studying his drink. "I just wanted to read my paper," I said. "You make the place look cluttered," she said, laughing like it was a joke. Her friends laughed too. "No offense, but with all your stuff everywhere." My stuff. A reading lamp, my newspaper, the cardigan Linda had knitted me that I left draped over the chair because the air conditioning ran too cold. I went to my room. Through the thin walls, I heard Vanessa say, "I swear, it's like having a teenager again." Michael said nothing. Month 4, I noticed my toolbox was missing from the garage, the one Linda had given me for our 20th anniversary, with my initials engraved on the handle. I found it listed on Facebook Marketplace for $150. Vintage tool set, barely used. When I confronted Vanessa, she shrugged. "You weren't using it, and we needed the money for Sophie's piano lessons. You could have asked me. You would have said no." That's not the point. Look, Dad, if you're going to be difficult about every little thing. She left the threat hanging. I checked the piano lesson schedule. Sophie had never started piano lessons. That night, I logged into my bank account for the first time in months. I'd set up automatic transfers to Michael's account, $2,000 on the first of each month. Simple, except when I looked at my transaction history, my stomach dropped. The $2,000 monthly transfers were there, but so were others. One for $8,500 in September, another for $12,000 in October, $1,300, $1,500 and $300. In November, smaller ones scattered throughout, $800 here, $1,200 there, $127,847 gone in 5 months. I checked my email, hands shaking. Nothing from the bank, no alerts, no statements. Then I noticed. My email address listed on the account wasn't mine anymore. It was michaelchen.your@gmail.com. Someone had changed it. I sat there in the dark, the numbers glowing on my phone screen, and felt something crack inside my chest. The next morning, I played normal, made breakfast, drove the girls to school, came home. Vanessa was in the kitchen, filming herself making a smoothie. "Hey Dad, can you move? You're in my shot." I moved. That afternoon, I drove to the FedEx office and printed out every bank statement from the last 6 months. Then I went to the library and used their computer to forward all those emails to a new account I created. Evidence. Documentation. The way I'd kept records in the restaurant. Everything written down. Everything saved. December 20th, Vanessa announced they were having a Christmas Eve party. "Just a few friends," she said. 20 people, max. "Should I cook?" I asked. I'd been planning to make a feast. Peking duck, my special egg rolls, Linda's recipe for honey-glazed ham. "Oh, God, no," Vanessa laughed. "No offense, but we're having it catered. Real food, not your Chinese stuff. Real food." As if the cuisine I'd spent 32 years perfecting was somehow not real. Christmas Eve arrived cold and bright. I woke up early anyway, habit from 3 decades of restaurant mornings. The house was already chaos. Vanessa directing caterers. Michael setting up a bar in the dining room. The girls were with Vanessa's mother for the night. By 6 p.m., the house filled with people I didn't know. Vanessa's influencer friends. People who spent the whole time filming themselves, drinking champagne, and laughing too loud at things that weren't funny. I stayed in my room. No one came to get me. At 7:30, I got hungry. I hadn't eaten since breakfast. I went to the kitchen. Vanessa was there with 2 of her friends, all of them holding wine glasses. "Oh," she said when she saw me. "We're kind of in the middle of something. I just need to make a sandwich." She exchanged looks with her friends. "Actually, Dad, the kitchen's kind of off limits right now. Party stuff, you know? I just need bread and there's food in the garage," she said. "From yesterday. Help yourself." The garage, where we kept the trash cans and recycling. I looked at Michael, who'd just walked in. "Son?" He looked away. "Dad, it's easier if you eat separately tonight. We have guests." Something in his voice, not apologetic, annoyed. I walked to the garage. On a TV tray next to my car sat a paper plate covered in plastic wrap. Leftover Chinese takeout from 3 days ago, the sauce congealed, the rice hard. Not even my cooking. Cheap takeout they'd ordered from Golden Dragon, the place with the C health rating. I stood there, in the cold garage, holding that plate, listening to laughter from inside. Someone had left the door cracked, and I could hear Vanessa's voice, loud with wine. Honestly, I don't know why Michael insists on keeping him here. It's like having a permanent house guest who contributes nothing. "Doesn't he help with the kids?" one of her friends asked. "Oh, please. He's their grandpa, not a nanny." "That's different. And between you and me, the girls are kind of weirded out by him. He barely speaks English properly. I was born in San Francisco. My English was fine." "How much longer?" another voice asked. "Not much," Vanessa said. "Michael's been talking to an elder care attorney. There's this great memory care facility in Scottsdale. We're working on getting him declared incompetent. Early dementia, you know, Then we can access the rest of his assets, sell them, and finally get that lake house we've been looking at. Memory care. Dementia. I was 67, not 97. My mind was sharp, sharper than theirs, apparently. What about the money from his restaurant? Already mostly gone, Vanessa laughed. God, it was so easy. He set up this joint account when he moved in, for household expenses. I just convinced Michael to make me a signer too. The old man never checks his statements. We've been pulling whatever we need. The Tesla? Yep, Michael's wanted one for years. Early Christmas present to ourselves. I set the plate down carefully, very carefully. Because my hands were shaking so hard, I was afraid I'd drop it. I walked back through the house. No one noticed me. I went to my room, pulled out my old duffel bag from under the bed, and started packing. Clothes, documents, my wallet, Linda's photo, the jade bracelet she'd worn every day. It took 15 minutes. I walked out the front door while the party was still going. My car keys were in my pocket. I got in my 15-year-old Camry and drove away. No one noticed. I checked into a Motel 6 off Route 40. The room smelled like industrial cleaner and old cigarettes, but it was quiet. I sat on the bed and called David Ortega. David had been my commercial real estate attorney when I bought Chen's Kitchen. We'd stayed friends, occasionally meeting for dim sum. He was 70 now, semi-retired, but his mind was steel-trap sharp. "Robert," he said when he answered. "Merry Christmas. Everything okay?" "No," I said, and I told him everything. The silence when I finished was heavy. "Can you meet me tomorrow?" he asked. "I'll cancel my plans. Bring all your bank statements." December 26th. I sat in David's office, a converted brownstone in the old downtown. He'd reviewed everything I brought. His expression was grim. "This is textbook elder financial abuse," he said. "And the part about getting you declared incompetent? That's conspiracy to commit fraud, possibly more. What are my options?" He leaned back. "Several. We can file a police report. We can file civil charges. We can freeze your accounts immediately and demand restitution. But Robert, I need to tell you something first." He pulled out a different folder. "A month ago, I got a call from an attorney in Portland, Henry Chang's attorney. Henry, my cousin. We'd been close as kids, drifted apart as adults. I'd sent him a Christmas card every year, got one back. That was about it. Henry passed away in October," David said gently. "I'm sorry. I tried to reach you, but your phone went to voicemail, and my emails bounced back. Because Vanessa had changed my email address. Henry never married. No kids. He left everything to you. I've been trying to notify you for 6 weeks." He slid papers across the desk. He owned a beach house in Cannon Beach, Oregon. Small place, 2 bedrooms, right on the water. Paid off. Worth about $650,000. Plus, he'd set up an irrevocable trust with $400,000. The trust was specifically structured so only you can access it, and only for your direct benefit. No one else. Ever. I stared at the papers. Henry's attorney, Grace Wu, did some investigating when she couldn't reach you. She got concerned, found out where you were living. She actually hired a private investigator who documented some of what was happening. He opened another folder. Photos. Me driving the girls to school. Me doing yard work. Me carrying groceries. Time-stamped, dated. A log of my daily routine. Grace was worried about elder abuse. She was right. Henry knew you'd sold your restaurant. He wanted to make sure you were protected. The trust has specific clauses. If anyone tries to get you declared incompetent or tries to access your assets through guardianship, they're automatically excluded from any inheritance. Ever. Henry put that in before he died. He knew? My voice cracked. He suspected. You'd mentioned Michael in your Christmas cards. Henry did some research, found Vanessa's social media, saw the lifestyle, the spending, did the math. He wanted to protect you, even after he was gone. I sat there, papers blurring in front of me. So here's what I propose, David said. We freeze your remaining accounts today. We file a police report for financial exploitation. We send Michael and Vanessa a letter demanding full restitution within 30 days. Or we pursue criminal charges. And you move to Oregon. Start over. You've earned it. The girls, I said. Emma and Sophie. We can arrange supervised visitation if you want. But Robert, they're not your responsibility. You raised your son. He made his choices. The girls have parents. You're allowed to live your own life now. That's what Linda used to say. Robert, you work too hard. Live a little. I'd never listened. One more thing, David said. Henry's beach house? It used to be a coffee shop. Ground floor commercial space. Residential above. It's been closed for years, but it's zoned for food service. A coffee shop. With a kitchen. I signed everything David put in front of me. 3 days later, Michael and Vanessa showed up at the motel. I'd made the mistake of using my credit card at the front desk. They'd found me. Vanessa's eyes were red. Dad, please. We can explain everything. Get out, I said. It's not what you think, Michael said. But he wouldn't meet my eyes. Just like at Christmas. I have a letter from my attorney, I said. You have 30 days to return $127,847, or I'm pressing criminal charges. That's it. That's all I have to say to you. We don't have that money, Vanessa said, and now she was crying. The Tesla lease, the house payment, my business investments. Sell the Tesla, I said. Sell whatever you need to. I don't care. Dad. Michael's voice was quiet. I'm sorry. You stood there and let her send me to the garage like a dog. I know. You said nothing. I know. Then you're sorry means nothing. Vanessa started to speak, but David stepped out from the motel office where he'd been waiting. This conversation is over. Any further contact goes through me. Here's my card. 30 days. They left. I drove to Oregon 2 weeks later. The beach house was exactly as David had described. Small, weathered gray by salt air, perched on a rocky outcrop with the Pacific stretching to infinity. The commercial space downstairs had good bones. Old espresso machine, industrial oven, plenty of counter space. I spent January cleaning, painting, planning. I wasn't opening another full restaurant. I was 67, not 40. But a small bakery cafe, coffee, pastries, maybe some simple lunch items. That I could do. I called it Linda's. She would have liked that. By March, I'd hired 2 local high school kids who needed after-school work. By April, I had regulars. Tourists who stumbled in for coffee, locals who came for my egg rolls and char siu bao. I kept the menu small, just things I loved to make. Michael sent the money in 2 installments. Sold the Tesla, took out a loan for the rest. Vanessa's influencer career had tanked after the private investigator's report somehow leaked to some drama channels. Karma worked in mysterious ways. In May, I got a letter from Emma. She was 9 now. She'd written it herself, in careful block letters. Dear Grandpa, Mom says we can't see you anymore. But when I'm older, can I visit? I miss your pancakes. Love, Emma. I wrote back, Dear Emma, when you're older, the door is always open. Love, Grandpa. I don't know if she ever got it. Michael and Vanessa moved to Texas in June. Something about a fresh start. I sent a Christmas card to their new address. It came back, returned to sender. The girls weren't my responsibility. David was right about that. But I still thought about them. On a Saturday morning in early December, almost a year after I'd left, I was behind the counter at Linda's, pulling a tray of cinnamon rolls from the oven when the door chimed. An older woman walked in, salt and pepper hair, expensive coat. Behind her, 2 teenage girls. My heart stopped. Mr. Chen, the woman said. I'm Victoria, Vanessa's mother. I believe you remember Emma and Sophie. The girls had grown. Emma was taller. Sophie's face had lost its baby roundness. Grandma Vicky brought us, Emma said, her voice uncertain. Is that okay? I looked at Victoria. She gave a small nod. I didn't know what was happening until after you left. I'm sorry. The girls have been asking about you. If you're willing, I'd like to arrange visits. Regular ones. With my supervision. Mom and Dad don't know we're here, Sophie said quietly. They don't need to know, Victoria said firmly. The girls deserve to know their grandfather. I looked at them. Really looked at them. Linda's eyes in their faces. Are you hungry? I asked. Emma's face lit up. Do you still make those pancakes? I can make some right now. Want to help? They came behind the counter. I showed Emma how to mix the batter, taught Sophie how to pour the perfect circle on the griddle. Victoria sat at a corner table, sipping coffee, watching with a soft smile. Why did you leave? Sophie asked as we cooked. I could have lied, could have said it was too complicated. But Linda always said kids deserve honesty. Sometimes people forget to be kind, I said. And sometimes you have to choose yourself. Was it because of Mom? Emma asked. Your mom and I had different ideas about family, I said carefully. But that doesn't change how much I love you two. We missed you, Sophie said. I missed you too, sweetheart. We sat together eating pancakes at the window table, watching waves crash against rocks. Emma told me about school, about her soccer team. Sophie told me about learning guitar. Normal things, kid things. When Victoria said it was time to go, the girls hugged me tight. Can we come back? Emma asked. Anytime Victoria brings you, I promised. They've come every other Saturday since. Sometimes we bake, sometimes we walk on the beach. Sometimes we just sit and talk. Victoria always stays, quiet and watchful, but kind. I don't know if Michael knows. I don't ask. The girls don't volunteer. But on those Saturday mornings, when I hear the door chime and see them walk in, smiling, I think about Linda, about the restaurant we built together, about the life we made. She used to say, Robert, success isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. I thought she meant money. Now, watching Emma teach Sophie how to fold dumpling wrappers, flour on their noses, laughter in their voices, I understand. It was never about the money at all. The coffee's hot now. The morning light slants through the windows of Linda's, catching dust motes and golden beams. The espresso machine hisses. The oven timer dings. I have cinnamon rolls to frost, coffee to brew, a life to live. My house, my rules, my peace. And on Saturday, the girls come home.